Tonight, Perth ready to party as the city welcomes 2024. We're live to the hotspots. What's happening in your suburb? A summer warning from a Perth dad, the shell hiding a potentially deadly surprise. A Northbridge stabbing lands 3 men in court as police hunt for more suspects. Passengers take matters into their own hands when a man lashes out in the middle of a flight. A scene of devastation as a freight train and truck collide in the outback, claiming 2 lives. And David Warner gets his SCG swan song, how his teammates are preparing to send him off at his home ground.
Live from Perth, 7 News with Samantha Jolly.
Good evening and welcome to 7 News. We're just 6 hours away from welcoming 2024. The stage is set for what will be one of the biggest celebrations our city has seen in decades as we count down to midnight. We have reporters in the party hotspots tonight as thousands of revellers start to pour in to celebrate the end of the year. Cyan Valence begins our coverage as the countdown begins across the suburbs, from concerts in the south to fireworks in the north.
These will be the best seats in the house. The boats are anchored, the rides are ready, and the stage is set for an epic New Year's Eve.
More or less magical.
So exciting.
South of the river, Birds of Tokyo, ready to rock in Rockingham. The lyrics to one of their biggest hits, highly appropriate for tonight.
Oh, we'll definitely play lanterns, yeah. That'll be the perfect one to ring in the New Year's.
Lighting the way not with lanterns but fireworks at 9 and 12.
Everyone loves coming to rediscover Rockingham.
Rockingham's free family-friendly event, one of dozens around the city and suburbs.
This year is going to be even bigger.
The Lord Mayor promises Perth's New Year's will be the biggest since the start of this millennium.
Oh my God, it's so good. This is like the best party ever.
There's been some fantastic fireworks shows, so I don't know if they can be beaten, but tonight might be the night.
Ready to rival 2000.
This is the calm before the storm. Soon, thousands of families are expected to descend on Elizabeth Quay for the Fun Festival and 2 epic firework displays.
The City of Light will live up to its name at 8 tonight when the first round explodes, the same time as Rotto. At 8:30 there's Mindari, Karratha and Pemberton. At 9, Mandurah, Rockingham, City Beach, Esperance and Albany will light up. Then at midnight, Gloucester Park, the CBD rooftops, Rockingham and Albany will ring in 2024 with a bang. The advice is to plan your journeys. There are road closures in place. James and Lake Street closed at 5 and parts of William Street will shut from 7. Public transport is free after midnight as Perth gets ready to party.
Happy New Year!
YOLO.
Cyan Valence, 7 News.
And there are big crowds at Elizabeth Quay. Let's go to Monique Dirks and Mon. It's looking pretty packed already.
Yes, Sam, it definitely is filling up very fast. The weather is beautiful. It's a little windy, but it's warm and families are definitely making the most of it. It's free entry to the fun fair down here at Elizabeth Quay. There's music, food trucks and rides. And of course, the big draw card is the fireworks. Now, if you're anything like me and you're probably not going to make it up till midnight, this might be the spot for you. The fireworks here go off at 8 p.m. Perfect for a 9 p.m. bedtime. For those keen to party on, the fun fair does go until midnight when the skies light up again as the clock strikes 12. Sam?
A fun night ahead. Thanks, Monique. And the party is well and truly underway in Sydney, where the first of 2 big fireworks extravaganzas is exploding across the harbour. This is a live shot now of Sydney Harbour, where it's just turned 9 p.m. The early fireworks for families to enjoy with kids. Right now, more than 1 million people are lining the waterfront to welcome in 2024. Northbridge is expecting a big crowd to see in the new year tonight. Lockie Byrne is there, and Lockie, has the party started?
Not quite just yet, Sam, but as we know, Northbridge does do its best work after the sun goes down. There are a number of ticketed events throughout the city tonight, also pubs and nightclubs that are expected to fill out later on in the night. There is also fireworks here, as we've heard, right on the stroke of midnight. They're being set off from 4 different buildings around the city, so from wherever you are, you'll be able to see them. It's also the biggest night of the year for WA Police, who have sent out a stern warning for anyone who is looking to take things a little bit too far. Officers have promised to saturate the streets of the entertainment precincts. That's not just here in Perth Northbridge, but also Hillary's, Scarborough, Fremantle and down in Mandurah. This is the message they had for the public earlier today.
Police will also be targeting antisocial behaviour and any alcohol-fuelled violence. I can promise you, you will come in contact with the police if you breach any of these standards that we're asking you to abide by. We're asking you to make sure that everyone has a great New Year, not just yourself.
And Sam, we have just received some concerning breaking news. There are fears for 2 children who are believed to be missing in the Swan River near Burswood. We understand there's a major search underway right now. We'll have more details on that as they come to hand. Sam?
All right, Lockie, thanks for that breaking news. Northbridge was the scene of a violent knife attack that landed 3 men in court today. The incident happened in the early hours of yesterday morning. Tonight, police are still hunting others they believe could be involved.
Free on bail but fearful of the cameras. Agoth leaves the Northbridge Magistrates Court charged with grievous bodily harm over this Northbridge brawl yesterday morning. Also free tonight, his co-accused Ngang Lual. 2 of the 7 men police say are behind this gang-related attack on the corner of James and Lake Street in Northbridge that left a 22-year-old victim on the road with several knife wounds, many of the weapons discarded at the scene. The 3rd man arrested, Chidiri Lap, is tonight in custody waiting to make a bid for freedom on Tuesday. But there are 4 men police are still searching for. 3 of their faces were captured by security cameras. Crucial to finding the other men wanted for questioning over this attack are members of the public. Police are urging anyone who might have information to come forward. The busiest night on Perth's party calendar. Ben Downey, 7 News.
2 train drivers have been killed after a truck and train collided near the New South Wales-South Australia border. This is the scene at the crash site where containers from the freight train are strewn across the ground. The truck carrying avocados was heading east towards Broken Hill when the train ploughed into it at a level crossing. The crash sparked a small fire. The road is expected to be closed for several days. A court has found Nepal's highest profile cricketer, Sandeep Lamishane, guilty of raping an 18-year-old woman. The leg spinner, who's the only Nepalese player to feature in global 2020 leagues, including Australia's Big Bash, was suspended as the country's captain following his arrest last year. He's facing up to 10 years behind bars. His lawyer says he will appeal his conviction. As we celebrate the new year tonight, an Australian woman is desperately hoping to bring her husband home. Kevin Maligan is fighting for life in Bali after falling off his motorbike. His pregnant wife is with him.
Almost too pregnant to fly, Leah Maligan travelled from Sydney to Bali to be by her husband's bedside.
Getting to just feel him being nice and warm still, and the fact that he's still alive. That's all that matters at the moment.
With friends to celebrate the new year, 24-year-old Kevin was a passenger on a scooter that hit a pothole, hurtling him onto the road. He suffered multiple injuries, including a bleed on his brain and a fracture to his neck.
It's something that you just see in movies and you hear of, but you just never think you're going to be in that situation.
At home, family are caring for the couple's toddler, trying to come up with the tens of thousands of dollars needed for his climbing bills.
Because the insurance won't cover it, you've got to pay every couple of days.
The family now hopes to fly Kevin home to Sydney for treatment here at Nepean Hospital. But that flight will cost more than $100,000, money they simply don't have. So the community is chipping in via a GoFundMe page set up yesterday.
It just means the world. I never thought I'd be in this situation, and I've never been the type of person to ask for money or ask for help. But after seeing the condition he's in and knowing I'm going to be giving birth in 5 or so weeks, it's so important that he's at home.
Jodie Lee, 7 News.
Passengers have overpowered a man allegedly threatening to stab people on board a flight from Bali. The man had already attacked cabin crew. It ignited a mid-air emergency that ended in handcuffs when the plane landed in Australia.
A man unleashes a wild tirade on a packed Qantas flight from Bali to Melbourne. While dozens of passengers are left stunned, others spring into action. The Victorian man allegedly became aggressive just hours into the flight, lashing out at cabin crew and even threatening to stab people on board.
To have that experience on the return flight in the middle of the night would be really disconcerting, upsetting and disappointing to finish off a holiday that way.
It took multiple people to pin the man down, restraining him for the remaining hours of the QF46 flight.
There are tools and techniques and methods available to the crew, from very simple to pretty complicated restraint processes.
Australian Federal Police boarded the plane when it touched down here at Tullamarine, questioning the 28-year-old before he was taken to hospital for a medical assessment. Federal Police wouldn't confirm if he had a weapon or if charges would be laid. Qantas says it has zero tolerance for disruptive or threatening behaviour, with the safety of customers and crew its #1 priority. The airline is now working with authorities as they investigate the mid-air emergency.
The investigation will involve interviewing people who are on board the aircraft and the airline itself. And then if charges are warranted, they'll be made to make sure that this person is made to be held accountable for their behaviour.
Ainsley Kosh, 7 News.
The Karrinyup home has been gutted overnight. 10 firefighting crews were called to the home on Rinaldi Crescent just before 3 this morning. They were confronted with ferocious flames which destroyed 70% of the home. Although the fire is not suspicious, investigators are still trying to determine the cause. A little boy snorkelling for shells in Perth South has had a terrifying close encounter with a deadly sea creature. The 9-year-old didn't realise he'd picked up a shell that was home to a blue-ringed octopus. Monique Dirks has this exclusive report.
Perched on a shell packed with enough venom to kill 26 adults.
Should I put him back in the water?
Yes. A few minutes before this video was taken, it was in 9-year-old Benaiah Trolley's hand, but he had no clue.
Kids being kids, just enjoying the sea and the ocean and discovering things.
He picked up this shell while snorkelling off Point Perrin. He didn't see the deadly stowaway he collected with it until it crawled out and onto his sister's beach towel.
Yeah, it makes me feel pretty scared.
2 weeks ago, Joshua Eddington did the same thing in Shoalwater. He picked up a shell for his niece and was bitten. Doctors saved his life from one of the world's most deadly toxins, for which there is no antidote. A blue ring octopus bite can cause paralysis, even death, within 30 minutes. The bite itself is painless, but within seconds, the victim's mouth will start to go numb and then breathing becomes difficult as the venom takes hold. The medical advice is stay still and call 000.
So they're very good in hiding. So we wouldn't normally see them that often, but they are there.
Something so harmful hidden in something so harmless. Monique Dirks, 7 News.
This is 7 News as we count down to 2024. Next, American singer Paula Abdul levels shock claims about her time at American Idol. An injured boatie airlifted to safety at Rotto. And the toughest vape laws in the world on the way. All the changes we can expect in 2024, that's still to come. An injured boatie has been airlifted to Royal Perth Hospital. The RAC rescue chopper landed at Rottnest Island to transport the man to hospital. It's understood he received lacerations to his legs after falling into the water from a boat and coming into contact with the propeller. Perth's restricted trading hours are back on the agenda, with the Lord Mayor calling for a 3-month trial of extended shopping hours in the city. The Liberal Party is also planning to take the issue to the next election, with Libby Mettam promising to allow stores to open at 9 on Sundays if elected. Today, the Premier said changing shopping hours was not on the agenda for his government, claiming it would damage small businesses. A 14-year-old is in intensive care at Royal Perth Hospital after being hit by a car near Kwinana Freeway. It happened around 8 last night on the southbound lane near the Bull Creek train station. St John says he received serious injuries and was in a critical condition. Police are investigating. US singer Paula Abdul is suing a British television executive who she claims sexually assaulted her while she was working on shows like American Idol and So You Think You Can Dance. The accused has tonight denied all wrongdoing, saying the allegations go against everything he stands for.
It was her own star power that landed her on the judging panel of one of the world's biggest talent shows.
Paul, nice meeting you. Thank you so much.
Very nice. But Paula Abdul claims while working on the hit series, she was sexually assaulted by executive producer Nigel Lithgow.
And what are you going to sing today?
Court documents claim in the early 2000s he shoved Abdul against the wall of an elevator, groped her and began shoving his tongue down her throat. Paula Abdul left the show in 2009. There was speculation she quit over a pay dispute, Lithgow commenting on her departure at the time.
I'm sorry to lose Paula from it because she, for me, was the heart of American Idol.
Around a decade later, the pair reunited as judges on So You Think You Can Dance. It's alleged he again made advances, this time while she was at his home to discuss work, forcing himself on her, claiming they would make an excellent power couple. The Grammy Award winner is also suing the show's production companies, with claims she was discriminated against in terms of compensation and was the target of constant taunts. Paula Abdul claims she stayed silent for years out of fear. She's suing for unspecified damages. In the United States, Miley Hogan, 7 News.
Russia is blaming Ukraine for a series of deadly airstrikes which claim the lives of 20 people. The governor of Belgorod, a Russian border city, claims 3 children were among those killed in the shelling, which also left more than 100 injured. Moscow says the attack involved the use of cluster bombs. It took place less than a day after Russia unleashed an aerial barrage across Ukraine, killing 39 civilians. Protesters wielding sticks have clashed with riot police in South London as a demonstration turned violent. Officers were forced to intervene, arresting 8 people when riot vans were attacked outside a theatre. 4 officers were injured, the violence breaking out after a dispute between 2 groups at the nearby Eritrean embassy. New Year's Eve plans were thrown into chaos for thousands of people after Eurostar cancelled its train services. Passengers travelling between London and Paris were left stranded when a tunnel under the River Thames flooded. It's thought to have been triggered by a burst pipe. Trains are now back up and running, only after an entire day of services was cancelled. Next on 7 News, breaking news on an unfolding emergency at the river. Plus details on the big changes coming next year, including tough new vape laws. And holiday mishaps, the country that tops the list for Australians making travel insurance claims. That's next.
I know you can win. You know you can win. There is nothing stopping you. It's fast. Yes. It's free. Yes. It's easy to play.
Free cricket tipping. Big prizes. Get a taste of victory this summer at thegame.com.au.
At midnight, new vaping laws described as the toughest in the world come into effect here in Australia in an effort to prevent a new generation of nicotine addicts. It's one of many changes being pushed through by the federal government in the new year.
It's the trend that has Australian parents losing sleep. An estimated 1 in 3 teens has tried vaping and 1 in 5 young adults is vaping.
What we're seeing is this industry exploiting our most vulnerable people in our communities.
The dangerous habit is being fueled by disposable vapes imported from overseas.
A lot of the vape products are marketed to suck kids in, to lure them in.
Vaping is linked to seizures, it's linked to lung injuries.
But from tomorrow, bringing them into Australia will be illegal. Under new laws, the only vapes that can be imported will be pharmaceutical products to be prescribed by a doctor, dispensed by a pharmacist to help people quit.
Stopping vapes coming into the country is really, really important, but we need state governments to step up
to limit the supply and stop the retail of vapes, particularly to children.
Also from January, nearly 1 million Australians receiving youth, student or carer support will see a 6% boost to their payments to keep up with inflation. Youth allowance will increase by up to $45.60 a fortnight, and Austudy recipients see a similar jump.
I don't pretend this Centrelink boost is a king's ransom, it's certainly not, but it is something reflecting the improvement that people require just to try and make ends meet.
Under work bonus changes, seniors and veterans will be able to earn an extra $300 a fortnight before their pension payments are affected.
We're not forcing people to go back to work, but there's a big chunk of seniors who want to do additional work or, just simply go back to work because of the impact of cost of living at the moment.
Training a new generation of workers will be a focus of the government in 2024. 300,000 fee-free vet and TAFE courses will be rolled out to address the skills shortage. It might be time to book a trip to the dentist or optometrist as private health insurance extras are resetting. And in good news for mortgage holders, 3 of the big banks are predicting rate cuts by the end of 2024. Josh Martin, 7 News.
The 6-car pile-up east of Sydney, which claimed the lives of 2 fathers, is causing heartache tonight. Members of the church David Drodds belonged to wiped away tears during a moving service. Jason McMahon's daughter just wishing her dad would come home.
Voices raised for Lithgow crash victim David Drodds and his family.
We may never understand the pain that they're going through. We may never understand the...
A devoted church preacher and loving father. He was also a traffic engineer who wrote a report raising concerns about this very stretch where his life was cut short.
A humble servant who would often take the mop after the evening service and mop his floor.
2 of his daughters remain in hospital along with 3 other children. The Drodds family's Kia Carnival collided head-on with a D-Max ute on the wrong side of the Great Western Highway. The driver of the D-Max, Jason McMahon, was also killed. His daughter telling 7 News he may have had a medical episode. He was the kind of person to sacrifice his own happiness for others. He would never hurt himself or others on purpose.
The state's road toll 26% higher than last year. Transport authorities so desperate to understand why, they've brought in behavioural psychologists.
Highway Patrol yesterday catching these drivers doing 174 kilometres an hour, not far from where the deadly crash happened. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
Australians made more travel insurance claims in the United States than any other foreign country this year, according to data from Medibank. Other than here at home, the top countries for travel-related mishaps were the US, Singapore and Indonesia, with Canada rounding out the top 5. The most expensive claim, a family was reimbursed $200,000 when they had to cancel their holiday before they'd even left. You're watching 7 News live from Perth next. Fire rips through a home in Perth's north, the arson squad investigating. Tributes to British actor Tom Wilkinson, who has died aged 75. Plus a look back at an extraordinary year, the events that defined 2023.
And coming up in sport, the Aussies arrive in Sydney as they prepare to farewell a favourite teammate. Plus, Rafa Nadal gives the strongest indication yet that this Aussie summer could be his last.
Now, Fuel Watch. Perth's petrol prices brought to you by Fuel Watch and 7 News.
Returning to breaking news now, and fears for 2 children who went missing in the Swan River. Let's go live to Cyan Valence. And Cyan, do we know what's happened?
Sam, all we know so far is that it is still very much an unfolding situation. 2 young children went missing near the river along the Campfield Drive near Optus Stadium this afternoon. They are less than 10 years old. An enormous search operation was launched and both children were retrieved from the water. We understand 9 ambulances responded and there were critical care paramedics put in both of those ambulances to bring them back here to Perth Children's Hospital, and just minutes ago we saw them arrive. We don't know their condition, we don't know what else has happened. All we know is that 2 children aged under 10 have been pulled from the river near the Campfield, and that this is just the worst possible end to the year for their families. Sam.
Awful news, Cyan, thank you. The arson squad is investigating an early morning blaze in Perth's north. Firefighters were called to a home on McFarlane Avenue in Quinns Rocks just after 5 a.m. It took 6 trucks around 20 minutes to bring the fire under control. Fortunately, no one was home at the time. The property suffered significant damage and the cause is being treated as suspicious. British actor Tom Wilkinson has died at the age of 75. The Oscar-nominated star was best known for his roles in The Full Monty and Michael Clayton.
At the age of 75, with 130 screen credits to his name, Tom Wilkinson died suddenly at his home with his family by his side on December 30.
Shut it. Some of us are trying to get a job.
Perhaps best known for his 1997 role in The Full Monty.
You probably wouldn't get another Full Monty. I mean, it's just freakish the way in which it did what it did.
He's been remembered as British acting royalty. George Clooney starred alongside Wilkinson in Michael Clayton.
You are a legend. I'm an accomplice!
And led tributes saying he was the epitome of elegance. From Full Monty actor Robert Carlyle, truly one of the greats of not only his, but of any generation. Over the course of his nearly 6-decade-long career, he was nominated for 2 Oscars, for In the Bedroom and Michael Clayton, and won a Golden Globe, a BAFTA and an Emmy.
So I suppose I'm delighted.
Leeds-born Wilkinson, known for his work in Shakespeare in Love,
Cut off his nose.
The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel,
It's going to be extraordinary.
Batman Begins,
Now that's power you can't buy.
The Grand Budapest Hotel and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The actor appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire for his services to drama. Sarah Jane Bell, 7 News.
From fires and floods to a war in the Middle East, 2023 is a year West Australians won't easily forget. As we get ready to welcome in the new year, we'll take a look back at the year, at what shaped our lives. That story's just ahead on 7 News. But first, Anna's back with sport. Anna, David Warner set for a special send-off.
He is, Sam. It's hard to believe his final test match has arrived. His teammates are planning a fitting farewell. I'll have those details next. Coming up, the search begins. Alex Carey reveals who he thinks could fill Warner's shoes. And Rafael Nadal opens up about why he may never play in Australia again. Welcome back. The Aussies are intent on sending David Warner off in style in his SCG swan song. With debate over his place in the team, Alex Carey told 7 News a mature and resilient outlook has kept him clear-minded heading into the final test against Pakistan.
Rolling into Sydney, the final time Usman Khawaja will open the batting with his great mate David Warner. Teammates determined to give him an SCG send-off to remember.
He's one of the greatest teammates that we'll have. He sticks up for you. He puffs his chest out. He plays some amazing shots. He takes the game on. He gets stuck into the opposition.
No change to the squad for Warner's final test. Selectors open-minded about a long-term replacement. Cam Green's second coming could be as an opener.
If he was to get the call up to go up the top and play, no doubt he would be able to grow into that role.
Carey's always retained a safe pair of hands behind stumps. His batting did come under question until a pressure-relieving half-century at the MCG.
And a beautiful way to bring it up.
As you grow older and play games for Australia and I guess learn as a person and have setbacks, you sort of realise what's important and what's not.
In Mumbai, the next generation led the Aussie women's side to a series-clinching 3-run win over India in the second one-dayer. 20-year-old Phoebe Litchfield, the linchpin, top scoring with 63, to go with this screamer in the field.
Touch it, feet! Taken. Big wicket. Australians have Jemima Rodrigues.
Annabelle Sutherland, player of the match with 3 wickets.
The belief in her own game is there, and she's always been an outstanding prospect and a real talent.
Brett Thomas, 7 News.
Sydney's erratic weather robbed the Sixers of a potential 5th straight win over the Thunder. Chasing 152 for victory, the men in magenta were cruising at 1 for 34 after 4 overs before the heavens opened. The game soon abandoned, just 1 over short of a Duckworth-Lewis result being available. Alex Ross was the pick of the Thunder's batters, his 44 off 39 balls, coming with a big slice of luck after a James Vitch catch was overturned.
Feeling in really nice nick, to be honest. It's been hard to continue trying to push the score up when we're losing wickets as well, so I think that's just something we'll have to continue to talk about within the 4 walls.
And the Perth Scorchers will enjoy a short break over New Year's before taking on the Adelaide Strikers at Optus Stadium on Wednesday. Fans will be able to enjoy a league-first Aboriginal showpiece at the innings break. Rafael Nadal isn't ready to rule out playing beyond this year, but admits it's almost certainly his last time down under. The 22-time Grand Slam champion finally returning to the court today after an injury-ravaged 12 months.
Always able to draw a crowd, Rafael Nadal preparing for his first match since last year's Australian Open. In the doubles against Aussies Max Purcell and Jordan Thompson at the Brisbane International. Every step here, painful.
For such a lot of months, I was not able to have a normal life and enjoy, playing golf or doing the normal things that I like to do with my friends or with my family.
Retirement was an option after injury wiped out 2023, but that doesn't mean he won't change his mind next year.
I can't predict what's going on. If I am here next year, don't tell me you said it's going to be your last season, because I didn't say it.
Players not the only ones still getting back in the swing of things at the United Cup.
Sir, thank you.
The security guards just got lost in the moment there.
Novak Djokovic feeling jolly after Christmas.
Good.
Crashing Team China's press conference.
Make some nice and memorable moments on and off the court, and hopefully kickstart the season in the best possible way for us.
Still feeling the jet lag, but back where he's every chance of a 25th Grand Slam title.
Always felt like that was my happy place where I felt great, other than that situation 2 years ago.
James Manton, 7 News.
The Perth Glory will be hoping for a brighter 2024 after ending the year with a loss to the Central Coast Mariners this afternoon. The Glory got off to the perfect start with Adam Taggart slotting their first at the 18-minute mark.
Taggart's in the middle. The cross is brilliant and Taggart scores.
But the Mariners fought back, beating the Glory 4-2. Manchester United's miserable 2023 ended with a whimper. The Red Devils signing off for the year with their 14th loss of the season, a 2-1 defeat. It's the opposite feeling for Aston Villa. They head into the new year only behind league leaders Liverpool on goals after a 3-2 win over Burnley. Manchester City are 2 points back following a 2-0 win over Sheffield United. Chelsea survived a Luton fightback to win 3-2. The Detroit Pistons will avoid heading into the new year as the worst team in NBA history. They snapped their record equaling 28-game losing streak against the Toronto Raptors today, but only just holding on for a 129-127 win.
And there we go.
I feel amazing. Oh, man, I feel amazing. It's been a long time coming, so don't want to go back to where we were.
Detroit's last win was over 2 months ago. That's all in sports, Sam, on this New Year's Eve. Looking forward to David Warner's farewell. It should be a good one. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully a win. Thanks, Anna. It is a lovely evening for New Year's Eve celebrations. I'll have your weather forecast for 2024 next.
big news events happen, turn to 7 News.
Helicopters are coming through every 30 seconds.
7 News will make sure you're always in the know.
The weather didn't disappoint for our last day of 2024. It was a hot start. The overnight low was 21. We got to 30 degrees just after 3 p.m, then enjoyed a cooling sea breeze. Mostly sunny and 25 in Melbourne to kick off the new year tomorrow. Cloudy in Canberra, showers in Sydney and Brisbane. And across WA tomorrow, it's stormy in the Kimberley, windy for the Gascoyne, Pilbara and Central West, and showers for our south coast. On local waters tomorrow, there is a strong wind warning with southeasterlies up to 30 knots during the afternoon and the evening. So we have a lovely night ahead for fireworks and celebrating, down to 18. New Year's Day will be sunny and 29 tomorrow, cloudy on Tuesday, 32 Wednesday and Thursday, 33 Friday, and then even hotter for next weekend. And that is 7 News for this New Year's Eve. Please have a safe and happy start to the new year, whatever you're doing tonight. We leave you now with a look back at 2023, a year marked with incredible sporting moments, heartbreak in the Middle East, fire and floods here at home. From your news team in Perth, good night and Happy New Year.
The truth is, I'm tired. In fact, I'm exhausted.
I'm ready to be Premier.
The result clear within minutes of the count getting underway.
This is the referendum that Australia did not need to have.
When you aim high, sometimes you fall short.
The Premier has dumped cultural heritage laws.
Sucked in, Roger.
These minority groups have got all the say.
It has become somewhat of a mess.
We've had enough of all this.
The desperate need to find a way to end the alarming surge in domestic violence in our state.
It is help. It is absolute help.
How does a 15-year-old get hold of 2 lethal weapons and fire them in a school area?
We need to keep raising rates, and we will.
13 straight interest rate rises bite.
Australia is in a per capita recession.
WA's rent crisis has deepened yet again. The vacancy rate at a 40-year low.
We're failing vulnerable people.
Qantas broke the law.
For that, I am sorry.
We let you down, and for that, I am deeply sorry.
One was taking off, the other landing.
The thud of it hitting the ground, I cannot get it out of my head.
No words to explain.
If anybody's still out here, it's time to go!
Look at it fanning that, oh my God.
Just burning, burning, burning.
We'll rebuild, but there's a lot of loss here.
Searchers found what's left of the tiny vessel, and the 5 men on board never stood a chance.
Today, they have found 7 people alive underneath that rubble.
But they've just had to take a break from the search because we felt an aftershock. We feel like it's a dream.
Yes, yeah. One night everything is changed.
Incident declared. We have a bus rollover, multiple patients.
40 metres, this bus was out of control.
Beyond belief.
They just live over there, you know, it's sad.
Carrying the coffin of his firstborn.
My heart hurts and I can't deny it. But I know that it hurts deeply because it was deeply real.
Tonight, Israel is at war.
Hundreds of Hamas fighters spilled from the Gaza Strip and swarmed towards Israeli military posts.
They entered to my kibbutz, to my home. They butchered everyone.
Please, please help us.
She was only there one day and they kidnapped her.
1.1 million Palestinians given 24 hours to leave.
Are you inflicting here collective punishment on the people of Palestine?
Not a single civilian has to die. Hamas merely has to let them go to the safe zone.
Above us, patient, wounded, doctors, all being a human shield.
Yep, let's go. Let that camera roll. Come, Simon, go, go, go.
fatal shark attack in the Swan River.
The first fatality in 100 years.
Sweetest and smartest girl.
28-year-old Anthony Woods was killed when he was run down in Ascot.
You're my main man, my little bro.
Asking the Mother Mary to accompany Benedict in his passage from this world to God.
He's our hero. He's like the king of football for us.
Actor, writer and comic genius.
Oh, darling, a lovely little face too. Oh, I bet you were once an attractive woman.
Take my heart and make it strong. You're simply the best, better than all the rest.
A global superstar, the queen of rock and roll.
Son of Bay, I'm here to stay.
He was truly one in a million. Their co-star that had become more than a friend. In their words, he was family.
Tear us apart.
A day 7 decades in the making.
In his name, I come not to be served, but to serve.
74-year-old Charles Philip Arthur George, King Charles III.
God save the King! God save the King!
has now been pardoned.
I'm extremely humbled.
After 20 years behind bars, Kathleen Folbig is driven to freedom.
Oh my God. I have forever and will always think of my children, grieve for my children, and miss them and love them terribly.
The worker managed to climb into the cage and get to safety.
He's in!
I think we've just witnessed a miracle.
4 children found alive after 40 days in the Amazon.
WA's worst ever flood disaster.
An inland ocean for as far as the eye can see.
I think we rescued probably about 120 people from their homes.
We will be there for them and they will be there for each other.
The community has been awesome.
Go! Our house is burning down. We've got to leave.
Residents losing everything 4 days out from Christmas.
We've had so much support with people we don't even know.
I can't imagine how they put this thing out.
First ever 737 crash on Australian soil. Miraculously, its 2 pilots were able to walk away.
Everyone relay! Just let him go! Let him go!
In the face of nature's brutality,